Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be opening up, having a look and powering up the Aobosi CR50 Hex refrigerating unit. This unit is specifically designed for your camper vans or the van conversions. For anybody who follows the channel, you know that we're currently in the middle of converting our van into the camper van. And the Aobosi kindly offered to sponsor our refrigerating needs by supplying one of those units. This is a 12 volt or 24 volt, so it doesn't come with a 3-pin plug, so have to be wired into your system, which we'll demonstrate to you guys later. It weighs approximately 14 kilos, which sounds like a-okay. It does have a lot of other things. You've got the high efficiency DC compressor and conversion module, intelligent battery protector system to prevent your vehicle from running out of the battery. Ours is going to be wired into a different power unit, but nonetheless. And you've got the LED display control panel for temperature settings. It does apparently as well have a little compartment for freezer, and you can swap the doors either way. So guys, without further ado, let's get this out of the box, see what that looks like, and then we'll wire it up and have a look. So, okay, it's now out of the box. You can see it is really well packaged, really well protected. So let's get the rest of it off. So guys, right, it's all now out of the box. So this is sort of the cabling, which I'll show you later on. But everything's got the protective film over the top. You can see the top here, the top there, the sides, everything's got the film. So we peel this off later on, not today because we're not installing this today. But genuinely, so you've got your handle on the top, okay? And so you've got yourself two little shelves in the door, which need to be positioned properly. So you've got yourself a little drawer on the bottom as well, two shelves. We've got the little light on the side, and of course you've got the little freezer compartment, which is just on the top there. Let me just get this opened up. Here we are. It's not a huge one, but it's enough for some ice, for some little ice creams. Yeah, so it's pretty good. So now let's have a look at the sizing, okay? I know there's a sizing on the boxes, but just to give you a rough idea, okay, obviously they're meant to be built in. So we are talking about, 52.5 centimeters in height. We've got 48 centimeters deep, and it is, we'll call it 38 centimeters across. So it is kind of a decent enough size, guys, to be able to fit in the, under whatever you're building, under your kitchen or whatever. The whole idea is they are meant to be compact in size because, well, size is a premium when you're doing the van conversions or generally in the camper vans. Anyway, right, let's now turn the camera around. We'll have a look at the wiring. We're going to wire it up and we're going to power it on. So guys, so this is the back of the fridge. You can see the cable in here. It does come with the inline fuse. So to demonstrate to you guys what we've done so far, so we've got our block in here. So what we've done, we've basically taken the positive and negative. So we've got the red cable was positive and the black cable is negative. We used one of those fork spades, okay, hopefully you get to see that. That's been crimped taut to the end. So we tightened it up in there, and basically everything is positioned. So to demonstrate that again, we are going to be running this off the 12-watt cigarette lighter. So the ends of the cable have been cut off. We crimped the connectors on, and again, they've been connected to positive at the top and the negative at the bottom. And this is going to be our rough setup when we're doing this in our van. But again, we will be demonstrating to you later on because it's going to be a little bit more complicated setup back there. So technically now everything is in place. All we've got to do, we're just going to turn this on. Okay, and we're going to put on the 12 volt. And here we are. The fridge is now powered on, it's taking power, and it's working. So now, let me turn this around and I'll show you display closer on. So now, let's power this on. So we have the power button on the top here. So we're pressing the button. So the display comes on. So it does indicate to me the temperature. You've got temperature for the fridge and temperature for the freezer. So the refrigeration is kicked in now, and it's now taking about 34 watts output currently. Obviously, it's going to be doing this for a while. It's going to be fluctuating until the temperature reached inside. So to show you inside, right, a little bit close up, it's great that you've got the door that opens really, really widely. Of course, you can swap this side of the door if you wanted it to open the other way. You can see a little bit better here, the little, the freezer. You can position and reposition the freezer down and below if you wanted to, swap them about. You've got your little cupboard here, and of course, you've got yourself two little shelves. The beauty of that as well, that we like, first of all, you do have obviously two shelving in the door, and of course as well, it's locked, so it doesn't open. Of course, when you drive around, last thing you want is your fridge door opening, but you've got the little lock there, so it doesn't get open anyway. So here the displays then, so let's have a look. So we've got the controls here. So if I press the little clog, and you can control the temperature. They are obviously currently operating simultaneously because they are in the same units. Obviously, you can swap the fridge and freezer, or the freezer, in fact. You can put this down, but control that. You just put yourself into the desired temperature. So if you want your freezer to be -16 and the fridge to be 4, sorry, it does time out, you can just press yourself plus or minus, and if you hold the button, you can see it goes a bit faster, up or down if you hold that. So that works, right? So another thing you can do is understand reading the little manual, which I'll show you in a second. If you hold the power button here, right, for 3 seconds, you can see the display goes off and you got the little green light there. This is what they call a night mode. So basically it protects the battery, it just draws a little bit less power, but it indicates to you by the green light that the night mode is on. So now let's talk a little bit more about these specifications. So here we are, guys. It also comes with the manual there. It comes in the different languages, of course, and it gives you pretty much detailed information of everything you need in terms of the size of the cutout you need if you're building the fridge in. It gives you the diagram to show you how to swap your doors around, that sort of thing. It pretty much gives you anything you really need to know. Also, it does actually demonstrate to you the temperatures, okay, and it pretty much tells you what sort of the ranges you get in terms of the fridge being a 0 and then the freezer being -20, fridge being 1 and the freezer being -19, and so on. It just gives you a bit of indication so you can work this out, but that looks pretty self-explanatory. It tells you here the recommended temperature for specific fruits, vegetables, meats, that sort of thing as well. But again, this is pretty much goes without saying. The other positive thing, right, and I really like the idea of that, you've got this smart control of the app. I haven't downloaded the app yet, but I'll demonstrate this later on after we install the fridge. But basically, you have an app to be able to monitor what's happening in fridge and freezer and to be able to control that. Apparently, you got one for iOS and you got one for Android as well, which sounds like a really, really good idea. I appreciate you might not want to monitor what's happening in your fridge, but I think if you're driving a long journey rather than parking up, if you're worried about certain things, then I think it could be a very, very good idea. So there we are, guys. I hopefully have enjoyed this little video, just a brief demonstration. As I said, if you're following the channel, when we will be installing our fridge in our van build, of course, we'll be showing you in a little bit more details, other things and how we're going to be powering this up. Because this setup here, although it's kind of similar, but it's going to be a teeny bit more complicated for us because we are going to be obviously including many other wiring and things. But the general purpose or general principle of installing that fridge, it is pretty much that. It is very, very straightforward. So anyway, guys, we'll hopefully have enjoyed this video. I've put all the details in the description down below. And otherwise, thank you for watching and I shall see you soon. Bye-bye.